It's B92.7 playing today's best music, paying tribute to our friend Matt Luecking. We are having a celebration of his life this afternoon. We got Kyle West in the studio. We got Jules in the studio. And we got a blast from the past on the phone right now. Just say hello. Just say hello.
What's up, Wabash Valley?
Oh, I know that voice anywhere. Woo!
My man Apollo back on the airwaves to talk about our friend Matt Luecking. I know it's a rough week, but how are you doing?
I'm okay. When I first heard about it, extremely tough because he didn't deserve it. One of the greatest guys I've ever met in life. He didn't deserve that. Amazing guy, but even a more amazing friend to me. When I got divorced some time ago, Matt was the first person that I went to for help because I was in real trouble. And I don't think most people knew that about him, how giving and caring and compassionate he was. But he didn't even hesitate. He said, absolutely, I got you. And he let me live with him for about 5 or 6 months, and he saved me. He literally saved my life. So, yeah, it's tough.
That's a great story. I mean, that's just Matt. That's totally Matt.
That is the man. He great entertainer, loved music, all the points that everybody is hitting on today. But I think people might miss the fact that his heart was as big as it gets. I mean, I've seen him with his brother, with his mom, and I'm really close to his brother. I've seen him, and the guy is just, he's one of the greatest people I've ever known.
And you know that to add to that is that he was so helpful, and he didn't need any credit, because in the situation that you're describing, I bet very casually in a conversation, he said, he mentioned your name and then said, yeah, that you'd been staying with him. And I come to find out, I mean, I talk to Matt 4 or 5 times a week, and I come to find out that he said, yeah, he's been staying with me for a couple of months. This is the first time that he's even mentioned it, because he doesn't need credit. He didn't need that stuff.
It's a great point. It's a great point. And not only was he compassionate, but he was really sensitive. When I was staying with him, he was having a tough time with a relationship. And we would talk. We would talk for hours and hours. And I've seen that guy cry several times. And you know Matt. Matt was a bear of a guy. I mean, he was a man's man. But when you really got to know him, he would show you a side of himself, a side of his humanity that he didn't show a lot of people, and it was riveting. It was touching. It made me a better person. I'm going to miss him.
We all are. What's the one thing when you see it, when you hear it, when you smell it, whatever, that makes you think of Matt Luecking?
There's not just one thing, but I'll give you a couple things. Okay, one thing is the dude's a competitor. I've heard your stories about basketball, and I've heard his stories about basketball, and the guy, it could be a beast. I mean,
your tennis matches were legendary. I've heard about those tennis matches.
That's where I was headed. Our tennis matches. So Jules, so he would mention those to you also?
Oh my gosh, I heard about your tennis showdowns many times.
Oh yeah, we would meet up, and we would talk about it like it was just going to be a lighthearted affair. Hey man, let's get together and hit a couple balls. Okay, I'd come over. He'd have the elbow pads on and the knee brace. We would go at it. It was some of the best memories of my life are with Matt Luecking. The other thing, and I've touched on it already, just an absolute true friend. Shirt off his back, stop whatever he's doing, give you his last dime. Man, that was my man. Called him Skywalker. I didn't call him Matt like you guys did. I didn't call him Luecking. I called him Luke, and then I just went ahead and made it Skywalker. And whenever I said, "Hey, Skywalker," he knew it was me. It was his man, Steve.
Oh, great stories.
Going to miss him.
Absolutely going to miss him.
May I say something really quick? You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Absolutely stellar. Great job. Keep it up. So glad you did it. He absolutely deserved it.
It's very kind. We talked a lot in the studio and beforehand about it, and there's a dynamic to Matt that I think he'd have been a little embarrassed about all the attention, but this is radio. This connection that we make with people is exactly what radio is, and man, Matt would have eaten this up. Matt is eating this up. He loves this.
I would agree with that. One more thing I want to say that had to do with Matt. I've been trying to write a book for years and years, and Matt and I lost touch last 5 years or so because I left town and tried to find myself, and I would get these texts and these phone calls from Matt from time to time. What's up? Haven't heard from you. Hope you're okay. And he would put in there, I hope you're still thinking about the book. I hope you haven't forgotten the book. And I finished the book. I wrote the book because of Matt Luecking, and I finished it because of his brother, Eric. And I put him in the dedication. My man, Skywalker. Love you.
That's awesome. That's a great story, Apollo. Great story. We appreciate you spending a few minutes and sharing Skywalker to you. Matt Luecking to us, but Skywalker to you. And
absolutely.
And celebrate
Love you,
his life.
Apollo.
Love you, Jules. Love you, girlfriend.
Love you so much.
You take care of yourself. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Take care, Apollo. It's B92.7, 5 for Fighting 100 Years. Man, that was one of Matt's absolute favorite songs.
An anthem. He wrote blogs based on 5 for Fighting.
The blog that you dug out,
yes,
that he wrote 4 years ago about that song that still rings true, like he wrote it yesterday. I went back and listened to that song a number of times last night on YouTube. Just, I mean, so insightful.
And if you didn't know, Matt named every one of his blog posts after either a song title or lyric. So there's something neat behind each and every one.
He was so cute in that way.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just Matt. We're celebrating Matt's life today, our tribute to Matt Luecking. We had guests on all afternoon, friends and former broadcasters who worked with Matt. And now on the line we have Ben Davis. You remember him a number of years ago here in Terre Haute. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Good. It's we're having a celebration of Matt's life. We're trying not to make it a somber thing. We're trying to get through the sadness and celebrate the great guy that Matt was. So we're glad that you could join us on the phone this afternoon. You know, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Matt Luecking?
Well, the first thing off the top of my head is Post-it notes. And I know that sounds like a really random thing, but you asked me what's the first thing that came to my head, and it's the hundreds of Post-it notes that guy had all over. That was his record keeping.
He had
them in his he had them in his wallet. He had them on his desk. He had them in his apartment. He had them everywhere. When we would go play tennis, he would have Post-it notes writing down when we would go play tennis. So it's those little nuances that you kind of remember and really kind of help you just appreciate the whole that was Matt Luecking.
He just had his quirks, and you couldn't help but kind of laugh at him and kind of pick on him, but love him just the same. Oh
yeah, I mean, Jamie, you and I both know how deep of discussions we would get over, maybe a couple beers about music, about life, about relationships, and the things that would go between all of us it can't be repeated on the radio.
Of course
quite
not.
Frankly,
no, not at all.
But you know, that was one of the great things about Matt is he had passion. He had passion about the things that he loved, and that was evident in radio. I mean, he loved radio. He breathed the radio. And you could just tell that he had such a big heart for the community and for Terre Haute and for what radio could provide to the community. And you know, I remember going on pool patrols with him. He and I in the radio station van in the back roads of Illinois, driving beyond the speed limit to get to where we need to go. And
I think I remember a story in there.
Say that again.
I think I remember a story in there. Didn't Matt almost hit a mailbox or something?
Okay, so so my life flashed before my eyes.
Yes.
Coming back from Casey, Illinois, we're on this 2-lane road, and so we're traveling at a good clip. And so there's a couple cars that are in our lane that are slowing down, and Matt's having none of this. He's like, hey, you know what, we got to be back at the radio station. I got to shift at 3, so he starts to pass them on the left right about the same time that the car in front of the car that was slowing down was turning left onto the street that was there intersecting with the road. And so he slams on his brakes. Like, my life flashes before my eyes. All the crap that's in the back of the van flies to the front of the van, and it's like, and then the best part about it, and this kind of encapsulates who Matt was. He stops, and we're completely stopped on the wrong side of the street, mind you. And he's like, "Well, I didn't know that person was going to turn."
That's pretty much Matt.
And then, well, let's get going. Okay, all right, Matt. Meanwhile, my pants need to be changed, and it was just there's just one of the many things that I'll remember and miss about Matt, and his 45-minute conversations with Bret Michaels, and
you're not the first person to bring up Bret Michaels today.
That's amazing. That's amazing. we need to get Bret Michaels on the phone, or at least play Every Rose Has Its Thorn a couple times for Matt. I think he would appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, we appreciate you taking a few moments to call and be part of the show and Matt's life. And I know in my conversations with Matt over the years, I know you meant a lot to Matt. So we do appreciate you taking a few moments and joining us today.
Well, I'm happy to share my thoughts and my fond memories of Matt. And I know as much as it hurts for me to know that he's gone, I know that his memory will live on forever, especially in the Terre Haute community.
And I think he has stock in Post-it notes, too, so I don't think that's going anywhere either.
I love it.
It's B92.7 with Poison. Matt's BFF, Bret Michaels.
Classic. Classic.
He totally loved that stuff. We're paying tribute to Matt Luecking this afternoon. We're trying to have a little bit of fun in celebrating Matt's life. We've had such an awful week. It's nice to have a few hours where we can laugh about some of the stories about Matt. We brought a new friend in, an old friend, a new friend today, Mr. Aaron Green, who I know has a number of funny stories when it comes to Matt, working with him over the years. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're hanging in there.
First and foremost, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we're hanging in there. We're enjoying the last couple hours.
Yeah, it's so good to hear you guys again. And let me just say, all the former people at that other radio station that is now working at this radio station, you guys are making it 100% great. They lost out on all of us leaving, and you guys doing what you do there, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, let me just say. And then today is just another great day for what you guys are doing.
That's very kind, very kind. So tell me your memory of Matt. If one just pops into your brain, what is it?
I've got so many. I mean, Matt was one of my best friends, and he meant a lot to the community, and I feel selfish for being almost where people will reach out to me and say, "Hey, Aaron, I'm sorry for your loss." And I feel selfish for saying thank you, because it wasn't just me. It wasn't just you. It was the entire community that lost Matt Luecking over just senseless stuff. And I have a lot of stories of Matt, and I'm going to say about 98% of them I can't tell on the radio because I spent a lot of time with Matt.
That's fair.
I spent a lot of time with Matt Luecking. Matt Luecking was my best man at my wedding. That's how much I looked up to that man. He stood next to me on the day I got married, and I wouldn't have, it was either between him or my brother, and I had to go to my brother and say, hey, listen, I'm going to have Matt do this because, Matt's my dude.
Wow.
But I'm going to say the one thing that really, really reminds me of Matt, and this is kind of messed up, but I'm going to say Lil Flip. Lil Flip.
Oh, wow. Oh, no. Oh, my.
Oh, you went there.
Yes.
I did.
Game
Here,
over.
let me just give you a little insight. And if he were here right now to hear me say this, he would be, he'd probably be mad at me, and he'd say this didn't happen, but I'm telling you, this happened. He went into his office when we had all those people beating on the doors, wanting their money back. He went and locked himself in the office.
He called me.
The police.
He called me.
And left me out there by myself. And I'm freaking out, man. I'm like, there's people everywhere. And I'm beating on his door to let me in. He would not let me in the darn office.
He called me. He said, Kyle, we've got a situation. We need some extra security down here. I said, I'm busy, Matt.
A situation.
We have a situation.
Can you guys hang on? I'm trying to queue up some Lil Flip.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
And another thing that really, and listen to you guys, Apollo touched on it, was on how competitive Matt was. Because when Jamie, you said, we're not out here to set screens, that dude would be laying into you. I mean, he would let you have it.
He wanted to win.
And oh my God, did he ever? Here, check this out. We were on opposite teams playing. I was not on
Where's
Matt's
your
team,
first
and like
mistake?
you said, you wanted to be on Matt's team. I'll never forget this either. We were at the Happiness Bag playing. We'd go there on Sundays and play. And he was jawing. He was running his mouth because they were winning. And I'm pretty competitive too, man. So I'm jawing back at him, and I decided to start D'ing Matt up. And Matt's a big dude, and I'm not.
Oh, my
okay?
left shoulder's
so
well aware.
He's beating me up, man. He is laying into me, and I start mouthing off, and he starts mouthing off, and all of a sudden, I feel the basketball. I push him. That's what I push him, and I feel the basketball get slammed into the side of my head. And I kind of look up, and he's just pressing that ball against the side of my head because he's so mad at me. And then I punch Matt in the side of his giant red head, hand just hurting. We were so mad at each other, but after that was over, we went out, we went to Applebee's, and we just sat there and laughed about it. Matt had such a big heart and was just lived in a moment, and it's absolutely killed me for this to happen. I didn't get to talk to Matt near as much as I wanted to because it's, life, and I live in Cleveland, Ohio now, so, but he would reach out to me a couple times a month, see what I'm doing. The Cubs went to the World Series, and I was just talking to that guy about it because he was a giant Cubs fan, just like me. And it's just, I don't know, I've got so much emotions, and I sit and thought about what I would say about Matt, and I don't know. I'm lost now, man, and I'm driving home right now to say goodbye to my friend, and I'm sure I'll see all of you there, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with all you guys and celebrating Matt. And you guys are doing a great job. And in the Wabash Valley, and I'll say it for all of them, that we appreciate you doing what you're doing. Thank you very much, Kyle and Jamie. You guys have done a fabulous job. Julie, I saw you on TV the other day just pouring your heart out, and I hurt for you guys. I really do, because you guys got to see him every day. And you guys are the lucky ones to get to spend as much time as Matt as you did. And I was lucky for him to call me his friend, and not for me to be his friend. He called me a friend, and that means a lot to me.
Aaron, it's been a tough week here, as it has been with you, and I know it's difficult to get on here and talk about Matt. Now, on the other hand, you did come with the I punched him in his big red head story, so you did bring it. I mean,
and you did say Little Flip,
yeah,
which
and
is
you did bring
everything
Little
for
Flip
us
too. So we do appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I could still make somebody laugh because nobody else thought the story was funny. Will Flip was not funny. I saw my life flash before my eyes that day.
Yeah.
Hey, I love you, Aaron.
Yes, love you, Aaron. Appreciate the
Love you
stories.
guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Aaron Green.
We are B92.7 this afternoon. We're playing tribute to our friend Matt Luecking. Lots of stories, lots of laughs, which I think in some way is therapeutic for us to be able to have some laughs in a way.
Yes, I honestly feel a little too close to you right now.
Oh, lean in, Jules.
My goodness.
Lean in.
No, I've received so many calls from people who really just couldn't wait to share their memories of Matt. And I wanted to touch on the mayor reached out and wanted to say something. He was actually in a meeting right now, but was thinking
Which
about
meeting?
Matt. I think it was a budget meeting.
Oh, okay. Matt would have something to say about that.
Yeah, he would love that. But the mayor
Absolutely.
thinking of him.
Gotta keep the pool open.
Yes, and Matt always loved to talk politics and things with local leaders and talk about what we could do to improve the Wabash Valley. So that's one of the many things that people loved. I also
had a message from Will, who we used to work with here locally.
I do. You see how my phone has just...
There's a million of them. Hey, Julie, earlier when I said have that thing from Will ready,
Yeah.
that was right now.
Yeah, I struggle, but
if you could
it's
talk
my life
about
right now.
But Will said, I remember that time that Matt and I listened to music and... Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Wow,
sorry. You're going to have to... I'm finding it, Will. I'm so sorry, Will. I'm finding it.
This is what we call stall. We're stalling.
You're not very good at it.
I know.
I got it. Got it.
Yeah, look, I'm
Will said he wished he could call in, but he had to go back to work. He said it was great hearing us, Mike Eckel's old voices on the radio. The thing that he wanted to say about Matt, he was like a big brother to all of us that came into radio. He gave me and many others great advice, but also helped when we needed it. I remember in early 2007, I was going through a rough time, and Matt could tell. We talked about a lot of things from radio and music to life. During that time, our chats at FYE, #throwback, and hanging out with him and my radio family got me through some of the lowest points in my life. His positive outlook on life and always being there for others is what I will miss most. That's Will the Thrill.
love Will, and I love his discussion on Matt. Isn't it interesting that Matt leaves radio and he goes and works at a place all about music?
Right.
I mean, that's just
crazy.
That's just Matt. We keep talking about music, and
one more, we're going to talk to Eric Michaels, and one more, Dave Hunt from the Mac Daddies.
Oh.
Dave, he loved him some Dave Hunt, loved the Mac Daddies. I don't have a song ready. I don't have a song ready as he pulls out the sheet music.
Yeah, he loved to sing a song that he wasn't at all ready for.
So Mac Daddies, Matt Luecking loved you guys.
We got Eric Michaels in the studio as well. Eric, a longtime friend of Matt.
We don't go back as far back as you guys go back. So hearing the stories of what you guys got to experience, when you guys were across the street at the other radio station, and when you guys got here, that's been really cool to hear this afternoon. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job.
I appreciate that. So what's the thing that you'll remember from Matt? The thing.
I don't think I can tell you just one, but I've spent 15 years in this business, and before that, I remember growing up when all you guys were across the street, and
Shut your face.
I remember listening to you guys. It was you and Steve Smith, and all the voices that you've had on this afternoon. I remember listening to each and every one of you when I was getting into this business. So it was really great to hear all you guys again. And I think one of the things I'm going to miss most about Matt is him and I go back a long ways. Before working together here at the radio station, playing music together, wedding receptions and parties and things. And then for several years, we would have what we would call DJ summits, right? We each one of us
conference where you'd go to like Nashville or something.
No, it wasn't that. No. This was Saturday night, typically at Charlie's. After we would both get done playing a wedding reception, we'd sit together, and his buddy Troy, who we heard from earlier, and maybe a couple other people would usually there too, and we would talk about the wedding receptions we just got done playing, usually over a cheese tray. Matt probably had a Coke, I probably had a beer because I was that friend, and but those are moments that are great memories. And then I remember, I've been on High 99 for years, and I was charged with helping this station out and trying to build it. And that's when, I got a hold of you, Jamie, to join the team. I got Matt to join the team. And I'll never forget, him and I went to lunch when we started talking about it. We were sitting at Clapper Girl, and I just remember him looking me dead in the eye across the table. He goes, well, I really think I can help you out.
Total Matt.
Classic Matt.
Total Matt.
And help me out he did. If it was about, formats and music theory and why we would play this song and just
stiffs.
He loved those stiffs. So we got to play the new Bruno Mars. We got to play the new, Ariana Grande or whatever. And so, it was just great memories of a great guy. And it's just unfortunate that, these circumstances have played out. And just, I don't know what else to say. It's, as radio people, we're rarely at a loss for words, but I think a lot of us are lost words this week.
It's been a difficult week, and it's been difficult to come up with the right emotions, which always takes me back to something with Matt. As big a guy he was, man, he had some emotions. You'd get into those in-depth conversations with him about anything.
About anything. And it'd be, my day was wrapping up about 7, right when he's rolling in, and he sits down in my office and we start chatting about name random subject. The next thing I know, here it is 7:45. My wife is texting me, dinner's ready, where are you? Oh, I'm talking to Matt. She goes, okay, I'll wait on dinner until about 9 when we get home. So
Classic Matt.
Classic Matt. Classic Matt.
Definitely a guy that we miss. He'll never be replaced. And that's why we've left the 7 to midnight spot just kind of open for right now, because we didn't feel that any other shoe or any other person could fill those shoes right now. So,
one of my favorite memories of you and Matt.
I'm afraid where this is going to go.
Is in those conversations. No, is the city of restaurants, the hashtag city of restaurants that he loved, and that he loved being the first on the street with what was happening, and he somehow knew all that stuff. I don't know how he was he had sources for that,
right?
Of all things. But you liked to try to sneak one in on him every so often.
every once in a while. One of the best stories that I know, because one thing that Matt would do when it came to the restaurants, and you heard like David Haynes from the Chamber of Commerce say Matt was always at these ribbon cuttings at every one of them, but particularly restaurants he enjoyed the most.
Yes.
So one day he would come in here and go, well, we got a new restaurant coming to the east side or the north side or whatever else. And I said, all right, Matt, well, what is it? He goes, I can't tell you.
And in just that way, Eric, you got it perfect.
So Jules, when you and I were talking, and I was working on trying to bring you onto the team on High 99.
This was great. This is great.
He stops me in the hallway and he goes, so Eric, you got any leads on a new midday person for High 99? And I said, yeah, I do. And he goes, really? And I said, you'd probably know her too. And he goes, really, Eric, who is? And I go, I can't tell you yet. So, it's one of those stories. Jamie, you wrote on Facebook earlier, nobody gave that guy more grief than you did, or probably definitely the three of us guys in this room. And Jules, you probably gave him a lot too. But that was the kind of relationship we had with the man. It was loving, and it was just anything you'd want in a friend you had in Matt Luecking. And the fact that we are now talking to him in the past tense breaks my heart. And thank God we have caught the people responsible for it.
Yes.
And hopefully they are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, because Matt did not deserve the fate that was dealt to him. He did not deserve for something like this to happen to him. And it's unfortunate that as I've heard people say, especially in Elvis Duran's piece, unfortunately, Matt's story has an ending, but hopefully we can continue his story by doing something in the community that he would be appreciative of, because there was no bigger champion for this community than Matt Luecking, because he was everywhere and he supported every local business that he possibly could in the Terre Haute and the surrounding areas. So hopefully we can add another chapter to his story by supporting something in the community.
And we don't know exactly what that is yet. Matt's a unique guy where he was into so many things. You don't even know what thing to support in his honor, because he was into so many things. But we are working on some things.
We'll figure it out.
So this isn't, we're going to be done with our tribute show here in a few minutes, but this isn't the end. Whereas Matt Luecking's legacy is going to carry on, because there's a group of leaders here in the community who are getting together to really make something possible. And I couldn't be more excited about that piece of it, Eric.
I am too. Regardless of what we decide to do, there's been some ideas tossed around, from, possibly a scholarship for somebody to go to ISU on a radio deal or whatever else, one of the many community things. But we'll figure out what exactly is the best way to honor him. And I'm sure between the four of us in this room and definitely other community leaders, we will find the best way that Matt's story does not end with this unfortunate tragedy this week, that it continues on in the best way we could possibly honor the man.
I can't help but look forward to that and have a little bit of a smile on my face.
Absolutely, because that, the arrangements are this weekend, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make the funeral on Saturday, because I'm going to stand in for Matt, and I'm going to go DJ the wedding reception that he had booked Saturday night. And I know he would rather me be there making sure those people are entertained and have a good wedding reception than being down, bawling my eyes out at his funeral, which is unfortunate that we have to do this weekend, but I just know he'd rather me be there playing the music for the people and honor him in that way.
And Eric, I need to extend a thank you, because I know we're going to be at the funeral this weekend, and there are going to be a lot of tears. And then as funerals often go, as we get together with people that we know and we love, and we remember Matt, we're going to tell a lot of stories, and we're going to end up in some laughter, and we're going to end up in some joyousness, and we're going to have that moment where we look at people and we say, gosh, it's so good to see you. I just wish it wasn't under these circumstances.
Right.
It happens at every funeral.
Every one of them.
And as sad as it's going to be, we're going to get that opportunity. And you truly are taking one for the team. And I don't know that anybody said thank you, but taking care of Matt's wedding while we can go is something I can't thank you enough for.
Well, you guys are a lot, like I said at the beginning, you guys go way further back with Matt than I do. It is way more important for especially the three of you and others in the community to be able to go down there and honor him. So it's not taking one for the team in any stretch of the imagination. When this happened, and I thought to myself, what is the one thing that I can do to help Matt and be there for him in his time of need? Because I know for a fact that if something bad happened to me, hopefully not to this extent, but for whatever reason, if I was sick, if I couldn't make a gig, if for any other reason under the sun, I knew I could pick up the phone. I could call Matt Luecking and I say, Matt, I'm in a pickle. I can't make it to the wedding reception. I got booked this Saturday. Can you help me out? He would be there. If he was free, he would be there. And that's what I'm doing for him this Saturday night. I'm not doing it for recognition or anything else like that. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is honoring our friend. And to me, that was the best way that I could do it, was to stand in for him and make a bride and groom very happy this weekend.
We truly appreciate it. We'll be back with more of the Matt Luecking Tribute Show in just a moment.
Let me give you some advice.
It's B92.7 playing today's best music and paying tribute to our friend Matt Luecking. He loved the New Radicals.
Loved the New Radicals.
In fact, quite the blog.
Yes, and it was just a beautifully written blog. Matt had a wonderful way with words and writing, and he loved to write. And his blogs would be so on point that he would take a song title or a lyric and then kind of expand on it, share his thoughts. And even these blogs are 4 and 5 years old. They're still so timely today. And that's just exactly who he was.
Exactly who Matt was. I was thinking about it. And one way I think all this attention would kind of embarrass Matt, because he was a humble guy. But I think he would... I think somewhere he's smiling because he touched so many people. Well,
I think, Matt prided himself on being a connector, knowing someone at business A and someone at business B, and Matt, I know Matt. He would love the connections that he's made and is still making. I've received emails from friends of Matt's that I never knew. And one gal in particular, she said, Matt always told me, you just love Jules. You guys had hit it off. And to hear him talking about, our relationship, it's unbelievable. And that's really who he was.
And that only works because he's so in tune with each individual person. He knows exactly who you are and what you like and what you don't like, and to be able to pair you up with someone else.
Right. I'm just going to say one thing and then I'm going to give it to you guys. Matt invested in people. And one thing I always loved about Matt is that he looked at radio the same way I did. Elvis Duran even referenced it earlier. We talk about listeners. I call them friends. And in fact, during my show, you'll hear me say, friends, you won't believe what happened, because I talk to you guys every day. There are people I don't talk to every day. Matt understood that. Matt understood that connection was so important. And on my worst days, which some have been this week, it was hearing from you guys. It was being with these guys, hearing from all the people we have used to work with in the past. 20 years of friendship is a long time and a lot of memories and a lot of stories. And I'm just so grateful that I knew him. I'm sad and I'm mad all at the same time. I wish I could have one more conversation, but I'm just forever grateful for his influence. And anytime I hear a new artist or a new song, I'm going to always think about Matt. And anytime I put these headphones on and I crack this mic, I will always think about Matt Luecking, his impact on me and in this community that he loved so very much. So I love you guys. I'm going to step out for a second, and I love you, Matt. Maddie, as I like to call.
Thank you, Jules.
Yes.
My relationship with Matt was bigger than I even thought it was, and it took these last few days to really really internalize all of it. I think a lot of people that you know as work friends, or as the kids, their parents are your kids, or things like that. You kind of have one or two connections with them, and I realized that I have a million connections with Matt, and I haven't been able to get away from the release that you need in a situation like this, where you go do something that will get your mind off it. As people say, people are trying to help, and they say, Jamie, why don't you go play basketball? Well, it's because Matt would have been there. And I feel like that there's so many facets of my life that I feel like I want to talk to Matt about ISU basketball, and I want to talk to him about a concert and a wedding and everything else. And I realized this week that Matt was one of my very best friends, and I'm sad I didn't realize it before now, but I get that now. And the other thing that has really come to mind is, as we talk about all the outpouring of support that all the people that Matt touched. Matt didn't do any of that for notoriety. Again, I think he'd be a little embarrassed by the amount of support he has. But Matt changed the Wabash Valley. He changed people, and the way you look at things, and the way you analyze problems, and all that sort of stuff. And he always used the hashtag blessed for another day. And I think everybody at some point thinks, I wonder what life would be like when I'm gone. I think most people have thought that at some point. And I think Matt didn't want all this. This isn't what you strive for. This isn't why you live the life that you live. But look at the amount of people and the lives that Matt touched. And I think that's what I'm carrying forward, is the blessed for another day. How can I carry on Matt's legacy, and how can I positively impact the community and people, and continue to always be grateful, and like Matt would, always be blessed for another day. Well,
I don't know what else I could say after that. Matt touched so many people. He cared so much about Terre Haute and the Wabash Valley. And something a lot of people don't bring up is Matt was born in Princeton. He came to Terre Haute, to Indiana State, to college, and he loved it so much here.
Never left.
He planted his roots and stayed. Matt was so talented, he could have gone anywhere he wanted to go and work in radio or work in music, whatever he wanted to do. And he loved it so much here, he didn't want to leave. And that's one of my favorite things about Matt. I was just last week kind of teasing him with him. We were talking about he's living out at the Village Quarter Apartments. He's been out there for 15 years. And I said, Matt, you ever going to finally decide you like Terre Haute enough to buy a house? And he said, you know what? He said, I think that time's coming. And we talked about it a little bit. And, it's just a real shame that we don't have him, here on the air anymore. Even if he wasn't on the radio with us, it's just a shame he's not in our community anymore. He was a champion for so many organizations. I can't tell you how many times, he would come in, right at the last minute, said, sorry, I was DJing a dance for a fundraiser. And a lot of that stuff was just done out of the goodness of his heart. He wasn't making any money doing it. He just did it to help out. And he was doing this 2 and 3 and 4 times a month. And, there's just nobody else that does stuff like that. So, that's how I'm going to remember Matt, a guy that everybody loved. And, before we leave, I just want to do a few thank yous. Thank you to the people that called in today. We made our jobs a lot easier because we got to reconnect with some memories. But number 2, I want to thank the Terre Haute Police Department.
Yes.
And I want to thank the loss prevention folks up at Walmart in Clinton.
Yes.
If it wasn't for their actions, the people that committed this senseless tragedy, we may not know who it was. And the work of those folks and the work of the Terre Haute Police Department, I know some of the detectives worked around the clock.
Yes.
Getting this all solved. And thank you so much for making sure our friend, the people that committed this act against our friend, will be brought to justice.
And thank you to you for listening. Matt loved nothing more than you. He loved listeners. He loved connecting, and we appreciate you spending some time on this journey over the last 3 hours to really celebrate the life of Matt Luecking. One of my very best memories of Matt is going to concerts. We both shared a love of Matchbox 20 and Rob Thomas. We went to a number of shows. We talked about it often, and I know he shared that love with other people as well. It's my understanding that this is an important song for...
Yeah, he had a fraternity brother of Matt's. He was very involved in his fraternity. Sent a message in and said this is a song that he knew Matt really liked, and it fit the situation very well, and asked that we could play it. So we'll close the show out with Rob Thomas. Here's Now Comes the Night. on B92.7.
It's with extreme sadness that we announce the tragic passing of our very own Matt Luecking. Matt was the evening host on B92.7 and has not only been an integral member of our station, but a well-respected contributor to Terre Haute and the entire Wabash Valley. Known for donating his time and services to countless local organizations over the years and his love of music that is almost unmatched, Matt worked hard to put smiles on faces through music and fun. He was always there to help a friend in time of need and had a deep passion for being involved in the community. Our thoughts and prayers are with Matt's family and loved ones, who he loved so very much. We'll miss you, Matt. Thanks for the smiles and tunes from all of your friends at B92.7.